Today I thought I'd show you how to make my ultimate gluten-free chocolate brownies. They are so simple to make and they taste incredible. They're fudgy, they're gooey, they're everything that you want in a chocolate brownie. And honestly, you would not know that they're gluten-free at all. 6 ingredients, or 7 if you include the chocolate chips. You'll have them all in the cupboard. And you can actually make these dairy-free and low FODMAP as well. So I'll show you whilst I'm just making them and when I'm telling you about the ingredients, how you can do that, because it's super simple. I usually do it like that anyway. And yeah, I'll pop the recipe link in the description below so that you can try and make them and do it along with me, because they're that easy and they're that delicious that I just want you to make them. So yeah, let me just get on and show you all the ingredients. Okay, so here are all the ingredients that you'll need. You'll see I've weighed them out a little bit this time, a bit more organised. So firstly, I've got some caster sugar. This is actually golden caster sugar because that's just what I have at the moment. You can use regular caster sugar. You could also use granulated sugar if that's what you have. But I do quite like golden caster sugar. I think it gives it a nice flavour. So that is that. Then I've got some butter here. And obviously, instead of butter, if you're dairy-free, you could use like a dairy-free hard baking block. I think you could probably use spread as well. That would be fine. But if you're low FODMAP, you can actually stick with the butter because butter is very low in FODMAPs as a thing. So even though it contains dairy, it's low in FODMAP. So for that, for low FODMAP, keep it the same. Dairy-free, obviously change it to a dairy-free alternative. Then here I've got some chocolate. I've actually got a mix of dark and milk chocolate. I always say that you can't really taste the dark chocolate. So if you say, oh, I don't like dark chocolate, it doesn't matter. It's just that too much milk and I just find it doesn't work as well. It's just like white chocolate and milk chocolate have a lot higher sugar content and a lot less sort of cocoa content. So it's good to have a bit of dark in there. So if you want, you can do half and half, or you can do all dark, or you can mix it up a little bit, but definitely have a little bit of dark chocolate in there. So if you are dairy-free, you'd need to have all dairy-free chocolate. So you could have dairy-free milk chocolate or just use a dark chocolate that is naturally dairy-free. And same goes for low FODMAP, you would need to have a dairy-free chocolate. Then I've got in here all weighed out and ready to be sieved. I've got cocoa powder and gluten-free plain flour. Always make sure that your cocoa powder, if you are dairy-free, is dairy-free because some of them aren't. And also check it's gluten-free because sometimes they're not. And then I've got some eggs. I'm obviously not using all of these, but this is my box. And finally, these are obviously the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients. Then the 7th additional ingredient, which I think is quite important, but is completely up to you if you have them or not, are chocolate chips. I usually use a mix of dark milk and white, but obviously if you're dairy-free and low FODMAP, or either or of them, then you would need to use a dairy-free chocolate chip, or you can put whatever you want in. You don't need to use chocolate chips, you could use chunks of chocolate, you could use whatever. So those are all the ingredients, and what I'm going to do to start is use 2 of the ingredients, so the chocolate and the butter, and I'm going to melt these together and let them cool. So I need to do that before I can do anything else. And I do this in the microwave because it's easy, but you could do this on the hob, like with boiling water underneath in a glass bowl. But what I will say is if you do it in the microwave, make sure you open the microwave every sort of 20 to 30 seconds and mix it all around, because otherwise you'll find your chocolate burns, and that is not good because that's just a waste and you can't use it. So I am going to do that now. Okay, so my chocolate and butter has all melted together. It's actually quite hot now, so I need to let it cool, because if you don't let it cool, then when you add the eggs, they'll cook, and that is not what you want. So you just need to let it cool to more like a room temperature. At the moment it's a bit hot, and if I put my finger in it would probably be fairly hot, a bit too hot for me. So you kind of want to let it go down to warm slash cool warm, if that makes sense. Not ice cold, you don't want it to start setting again, but you just want it to be kind of warm-ish. And then you can start doing the rest. But I'm just going to leave this to cool, and then I'll come back to you once I'm ready to go with the next step. So whilst your chocolate is cooling, you can do a few things. You can sieve your flour and your cocoa powder into a bowl. You want to sieve them together so that, and make it really fine so that you don't get lumps in your brownie mix. Cocoa powder, I always sieve it because it becomes so lumpy and it's very, very annoying. Another thing you'll need to do is to line your tin. So I have got a 9 by 9 inch square tin here. That's how thick it is, as people always ask. And you'll need to line it. So I line mine with this non-stick baking paper, and I will show you sped up maybe how I do this. I am not the best at doing this at all. So if anyone has any suggestions or tips on how to line a baking tray, then let me know, because I am really bad at it. So there you go, that's how I do it. Obviously you have to remember to take the pegs off once you've put your brownie mixture in and before you put it in the oven, because I guess they would melt or burn. But yeah, that's how I keep it in place just until I pour the mixture in. But if anyone's got any better ideas for how to line a tin, then let me know. Also, you can see that I've got excess baking paper around the edge. I put a bit too much in. This is for a very good reason, so that you can lift the brownies out once they're completely cool and done. Otherwise, you'll sort of be trying to get them out and you won't be able to. Okay, so my chocolate is basically cooled, and at this point I want to start sorting out my sugar and my eggs. So I've got my sugar in this bowl. I'm going to crack my eggs in, and then I'm going to whisk it all together until it's sort of combined and a little bit frothy and lighter in colour. Okay, so my eggs and sugar are all frothy and mixed together, and my chocolate and butter mixture is now cold, so I'm going to add that in. And now I don't use an electric mixer anymore, I just do everything by hand with a spatula. So just add this into there. And then you just want to fold it all together. It will marble at first, but then you want to do it until the point where it's completely brown. Okay, so once that's all combined and it looks like this, it's quite thick, you then want to add in your cocoa powder and your plain flour. As I said, this is sifted, so it's nice and fine. And then you're just going to fold that in just like you did with the chocolate a minute ago. Also, make sure you get right to the bottom so that there's no sort of dry bits of ingredients that haven't mixed in, because when you pour it in, you don't want to suddenly start seeing dry bits of flour or cocoa. And I must say, this smells incredible. So good. So there you go, that's the brownie mix completely done. You could pour this into your tin now and just cook it as plain chocolate brownies, or you could add whatever you want into it. So this is the same base for lots of different brownies that I have on the blog. If you want to check them out, then go and have a look. But what I'm going to add to these, as I said, were these chocolate chips. So I'm just going to do exactly what I've done with every other edition, pour them in and fold them in so that they're hopefully evenly combined. Okay, so that's the mixture completely done and ready to go into the oven. So I've got my tin, and I'm literally just going to pour it in and try and not get it on the pegs. Okay, so before they go in the oven, you just want to make sure that it's all smoothed out and right to the edges and fairly level so that it cooks evenly. So I can see that edge is a bit less in there. This is just down to me and my terrible lining of a tin. But hey, it's fine. That's why I need your help with lining tins. And if you want, you can add some chocolate chips to the top as well so that they actually show up, because generally the ones that are in there, you won't see on the top when they come out, but you will see them inside it, so you can add a few to the top. Just be wary that like white chocolate chips, sometimes when they are right on the top, they can burn a little bit, but it's fine. So now all we need to do is to put this into the oven at 160 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees C, and I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit and stuff, but maybe I'll put that in the description below so that any of you who are in Fahrenheit and stuff can follow along and it's quite easy for you. To put it in the oven at that temperature for about half an hour, so 25 to 30 minutes. That will give you a really nice gooey brownie. If you want them a little bit more cakey, or if your oven is a bit slow, then you might need to go 35 to 40, sometimes a bit more. It really varies how you like your brownie, but when it comes out, it won't feel that cooked. It will be still a little bit wobbly, but it cools and hardens up a little bit. And to be fair, who doesn't want a really nice gooey brownie? Bye. Have a nice time. Bye. So I've just got them out the oven, and I don't know if you can see, but they're a little bit wobbly, and that's kind of how you want them to be. You don't want them to be really firm because they cook a little bit more as they cool, and if they were really firm then they wouldn't have that nice gooiness inside. So now I'm going to leave them to cool in this tin until they are literally completely cool. So that could be even like a couple of hours, and once they're cool I can go in for the cut. So these have been cooling for quite a while now. I actually forgot about them, and I've cut them into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares as evenly as I could. I did use a ruler, and they're looking great. I always find that you can tell when a brownie is done, obviously, because it just wobbles a little bit and not too much, but also this sort of nice paper thin crust top, which is just a really nice contrast to the goo that's underneath. You can see a few of the chips in there, but every bite will have some chips in. And yeah, that's them done. They are, to me, the ultimate brownies. They aren't dry, they aren't cake-like, they are gooey and fudgy, and they're almost, you could take it as like a snack in the afternoon or a dessert, and you could have it with ice cream, you could warm it up, you could have it cold. It's just one of the most versatile, delicious, yummy things that you could ever make, and super easy with like 6/7 ingredients. I mean, what more could you want? So as I said, these brownies can easily be made dairy-free, low FODMAP. They're automatically, of course, gluten-free, and they are the ultimates. They are just so much better than anything that you would ever buy in a shop or a cafe. And I believe that they're better than anything that has gluten in as well. They are, look at them. Can you see that? Yes, instant focus, because they are that good. They're gooey and amazing, and honestly, you won't regret trying to make these. And it's not trying to make them, you will make them, and they will be epic. So let me know if you do make them, and also let me know in the comments below if there are any other recipes similar to this that you'd like me to make, or anything completely different, because I'm always open to suggestions. And of course, the recipe for these, oh, they're so good. They're so good. The recipe for them will be linked in the description below. And yeah, I guess that is all for today. But if you'd like to watch something else, if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to watch something else, then click up here and you can watch me make some really simple gluten-free scones, and click up here and you can watch me make gluten-free naan bread. I mean, I wouldn't know what to choose. What are you gonna choose? I will see you in the next video. Bye!